what's up guys? It's Jess. Welcome back to my channel, and as you can tell from the title of this video, a lot has happened in the time that I was gone from YouTube, especially within the last 4 days, which have quite honestly been the worst 4 days of my entire life. The story I'm about to share with you is not pretty. It sucks. It's raw, it's emotional, it's very serious and very personal, but it's important to me that I share it with you because I want you all to understand what a real college experience is like for one person. As I continue to grow my YouTube channel, I want you all to know who I truly am and what experiences I've gone through that have shaped me into who I am. I have had to re-record this video at least 15 times by now. My camera's about to die. So I'm just gonna tell you what happened between Sunday all the way up to today, which is Wednesday, and then just kind of fill you in from there. On Sunday, I spent the majority of my day moving my stuff with my partner, Kane, because we just bought a house in the middle of the quarter. Yep, I know. Anyway, we were moving our stuff. It got to be around nighttime, and then I had to go to house sitting. As soon as I got to house sitting, I had to immediately take care of this dog, but then I also had to immediately start my Physics 321 electromagnetism tutorial homework. And y'all already know how I feel about that. Anyway, I didn't know how to do a single problem. I had to search up all the answers online. And after that was over, I immediately got an email from my NASA mentor saying, "Where's all your stuff? Why haven't I seen any work from you from the last few days?" And I don't know what kind of alignment in the universe occurred in that moment where every single thing that I had committed to happened all in that moment, but I just had the most overwhelming, extreme mental breakdown of my entire life. I just started bawling my eyes out, and I've been doing that for the last 4 days, but it started in that moment. In that moment is when I finally came to terms with how I was feeling about school and how I was feeling about my internship and all the other commitments I have kept myself busy with. And that was that I hated school. I hated my internship at NASA. I hated physics. I didn't like astronomy at UW. I didn't like what I was learning. I wasn't learning, period. I wasn't learning. There was just so many realizations that were slapping me in the face. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was about to get knocked out. I was bawling my eyes out in the corner like, please, it's round over. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. I was on the ropes. It wasn't going well, y'all. And I say this in a very joking manner now, but I was quite the mess on Sunday. And the only reason I am slightly more composed now is because I believe I have exhausted all of the tears from my body. So the first person that I called was my dad. My dad is the #1 person that cares about my mental health and well-being because I am his only daughter. Everyone tells me how much he loves me. He tells me how much he loves me, and I've always been my daddy's girl my entire life. And I told him absolutely everything I was going through, and he said, "Look, Jess, if you don't like school, quit school. I don't care. I need my daughter to be alive." That's basically just the shortened version of our conversation, but after that, I just went down my contact list. I called Victoria, I called my boyfriend Kane, I called my cousins, I called my friends from high school. There was just so many people that I tried to talk to be like, I have no, like, please, I need someone to talk to me and tell me what to do. Everyone was super supportive and understanding in their own ways, and I am so appreciative that I even had those people to just call in my darkest moments. The next day, Monday, I had class. I didn't go. I responded back to my NASA mentor and I said, look, this is everything that's going on. I told him about being a full-time student, doing physics and astronomy, doing that NASA internship, moving houses. I have been dealing with a physical illness since August, and I talked about that. And I worked flipping 2 jobs, okay? All of that was a lot, and I explained it all to him. And I gave him a call. He was super understanding, which I really appreciate that as well, because I know that being an intern there has been very, very stressful. So to have his support meant a lot to me. And then we get to the call from my mom. Now, I don't think I've told you all much about my relationship with my parents and what they're like. And I know they both love me in their own ways. So my mom is an immigrant from the Philippines, and I am her only daughter. And you can assume the pressures that may come with that stereotype already, but it's true. My mother worked so hard her entire life and currently still does work hard. She's the breadwinner of the family to get me to school, to make sure I excel in absolutely everything I do. I don't know how to explain this other than I was not allowed to be depressed. That's not a thing I ever talked about with my parents, let alone my mom. I wasn't allowed to be bad at school. I had to be the best in everything my entire life. It started when I was doing advanced classes in middle school. In high school, I took 11 AP classes. I was working jobs, I was doing sports, and I had to be the best. So my mom can have a daughter that she can show off to everyone. So there was no room to be depressed or sad, because you can't do that and be the best. So when I was going through this tough time, I didn't want to talk to my mom, but I called her and she said, you just have to drop everything and finish school. Totally reasonable advice, but school is making me so unhappy. Eventually it got to Tuesday, and that was the day of my 2 midterms. My normal Tuesdays looked like going to class at 8:30 a.m. and coming home from work at 8:30 p.m. I had class, my job, class, another class, and then another job. I didn't have time to eat. And when it got to Tuesday, I talked to an academic advisor, and I was stuck between dropping all of my classes, and then I was also like, no, I need to take both the midterms, despite the mental state that I was in, and having not prepared for either of them whatsoever. And the reason why it was such an intense decision that needed to be made in that moment, within that day, and that is because at UW, they do not offer classes every single quarter. So given my current schedule, in order to graduate on time, I absolutely needed to take the classes I was taking this spring in order for me to take the classes in August and winter and next spring. So all of it lined up. For example, these were prerequisites for classes I needed to take in the future. So in summary, if I didn't get them done now, my graduation plan was gonna be screwed up. I might have had to stay in UW even longer. I'd have to take these classes all over again since I'm dropping week 5. There was just a lot of reasons why dropping at this very moment was a very, very intense decision. And after talking with so many people, but especially my dad, it came down to the fact where I simply wasn't happy with what I was studying, and I was absolutely not gonna force myself to continue down that path. I have been forcing myself for 3.5 years. My mental state had gotten so bad to the point where I wasn't eating. First, I didn't have time to eat. Eventually, I just didn't eat at all. I wasn't brushing my teeth. I hadn't washed my hair in so long. I didn't shower. It sounds gross, like basic human things that everyone's gotta do. I couldn't bring myself to do them. That was how rough my mental state was. And it got to the point where if I couldn't even do those things, I was seriously in the mental state where even though I couldn't do those things, I was still gonna be able to take 2 midterms. Eventually Tuesday passed and I didn't go to school, and I submitted a form to drop the quarter. Eventually, I met with an academic advisor. We were trying to see some other game plans. You know, at this point, I didn't even want to be in school anymore. I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I felt like I'd wasted my time because 3.5 years were courses in physics and astronomy, and what are those gonna go towards now if I switch my major? How on earth am I supposed to graduate in spring 2023 with everyone else if I'm switching a major this late in the game? But we did have a plan. I could have done Earth and Space Sciences and minored in entrepreneurship, and I could have gotten it done potentially spring 2023. At least that's what we thought on the end of Tuesday. But I met with the same advisor today, and it looks like that's not gonna happen by spring 2023. And I looked more through the ESS major and the core classes, and I just wasn't interested. And then we said, okay, let's take a step back. Let's start looking through the other majors. And everything she pulled up, there was no spark. There was nothing. It was like something just plucked any ounce of interest in anything out of me. I've been having little pleasure or interest in doing things for a while now, but I didn't know it'd get to the point where I couldn't even find something enjoyable. I felt so low not having a game plan and leaving school. Because I mean, how could you leave school and not have a game plan? So anyway, that was a summary of how the past few days have been. When it felt like I had exhausted all of my phone calls, I was still bawling my eyes out. I felt so defeated and so alone. It got to the point where I was crying and I straight up just went like this and I was like, you're okay. It's gonna be okay, you're okay. And I repeated that to myself for at least 7 minutes of me just holding like this, shaking, being like, you're okay, crying. So my camera died, I just charged it, and I believe I pretty much summarized everything that happened between Sunday and today. And now I'm gonna kind of explain what I think led to that mess. So, as y'all know, my entire life, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew for a fact I was going to work at NASA, I was gonna be a mission control specialist, I was going to land humans on Mars. That was gonna be my thing. I was gonna be the girl that did that. I knew that from such a young age, but it was really solidified in high school. I took 11 AP classes and I only applied to a few colleges that had really good astronomy and physics programs, and I ended up at UW. During my freshman year, I didn't really take any astronomy classes because there was no room. You had to fit in those prerequisites, so it was a lot of math and physics. It sucked, obviously. I had my own problem with the weed out classes, a lot of people do, but I pushed through because I knew, that was all I knew. All I knew was how to push through difficult academic things, so I did that. So then we get into the end of freshman year, all of sophomore year, the pandemic, all my classes are online. Brutal. Doing physics online at home in Illinois was not it. Nope, not for me. And then we get into the summer going into my third year, and I take 2 classes. I take quantum mechanics, which I believe was 225, 325, something like that, and I take physics 228. That was the first class I've ever failed in my entire life. And to fail it at the UW was rough. Eventually I took it again this year, I passed. Then we get into this quarter. And I find it so funny, where in my most recent YouTube video, I'm talking about, the classes I've taken at UW thus far. And I talk about physics 321 and physics 226 and how those are gonna be the classes that made me wanna drop out of school. And here we are. Here we are. In summary, from all of the physics classes I've taken at UW, but especially with the 2 that I've taken this quarter, I have genuinely, and I mean this 100% honesty, not learned a single thing. And I don't mean to discredit the university. Well, no, I don't mean to discredit the university or the professors or the students that are able to learn, you know what I mean? But I personally did not learn a single thing. And anything that I may have learned for the exams wiped out of my memory after the exams were over. I'd never retained anything from the previous quarters. What kind of learning is that, where you don't retain the information? And what kind of learning is getting Fs on your exams? And now looking back, I realize I've been getting like Fs on all of my midterms, but they've been curved to be like A's and B's because everyone else fails. And it just blows my mind that that kind of trickery academic system exists in college, but I don't even know in college, in flipping UW. How are you gonna give me a good grade when I just failed your flipping exam? I didn't know how to do half the problems on there. So that's what I mean when I really genuinely didn't learn anything. It's not like I was a bad student. I went to classes, I emailed my professors, I tried to do what I could to succeed in the course, and something was just missing. Something wasn't clicking. It got to the point where I think you just need to have at least some like or a passion towards, some difficult thing you're going through. Otherwise it's gonna be, 10 times, 100 times worse. Especially at the college level, might not be the case when you're younger, but at the college level, especially in academic courses, you got to at least like it a little bit. Otherwise it's gonna be really, really hard to succeed in those classes. And there was just no ounce of me that loved what I was doing. I talked about how much I hated it all the time, even here on my YouTube channel. That is genuinely the main reason why I decided to drop out, because I wasn't learning. I wasn't enjoying anything I was doing. I wasn't passionate. I wasn't happy. I felt like I was wasting my time. And my money, are you kidding me? $55,000 in out-of-state tuition per year? And for what? And for what? As I was talking to my academic advisor these past few days, we were trying to explore different majors, different options for me, and nothing was really clicking. The only thing that I could think of that I loved with all my heart, that I love spending my time on, that never feels like work, is YouTube, content creation. Some people do YouTube and hate the editing side of things. I love it. I edit for 4 or 5 hours a day for a video and I never get tired of it. The time goes by so fast. And you don't need a college degree for that. And then I thought, what if I go into business? Why don't I just start my own business and learn through trial and error rather than spend 3 years paying the university to learn how to flip a new business without actually getting a business out of it at the end. And then I thought about real estate. And there's a real estate major and she's like, oh, you could do this. And then I was like, what? I'm gonna spend more time at the University of Washington to do a real estate major? And you're telling me I don't even get a real estate license at the end of it? You're telling me I could spend $55,000 a year to study real estate when I can spend maybe $1,000 max to do a course on real estate, take a test, get my license, bada bing, bada boom, and I'm done? Anyway, it just seems like right now a lot of the potential interests that I have, I've just argued that you really don't need a college degree for it. I will say that you do need a college degree for certain things like being a doctor, being a lawyer. Obviously. I don't think I need a flipping college degree to be a YouTuber. But then that comes down to the way people view me. As much as I hate to say it, I do care a lot about what other people think. And I think it comes down to me being displayed as this perfect student, perfect human being who's able to do all of these different extracurriculars and excel at all of them. Basically what I'm trying to say here is when I had a set plan to work at NASA, it's a very semi-traditional academic route, everyone believed in me. Everyone. The reason I say everyone is because my belief in myself was so overwhelmingly infectious that everyone believed in me. And if for some reason someone didn't believe in me, I had no idea. I was oblivious to it because I knew how bad I wanted to get there. And my self-esteem was so high back then. I had confidence through the roof. And now where I'm at right now, where I am at the lowest point of my life, lowest self-esteem, low confidence, lowest belief in myself, of course no one's gonna believe in me that I'd be successful on YouTube or whatever. Because I don't have a solid enough game plan. But I'm still trying to figure that out. Another thing I argued with my academic advisor was learning at the UW versus learning in a library. I genuinely feel like I have learned more as a kid going to the library every single day reading books than I have at 3.5 years as a college student, mind more developed at the University of Washington. So what's to say I can't, just Goodwill Hunting this thing and just read books at the flipping library? The library is free. So much knowledge in that one flipping building with a bunch of different libraries across the flipping globe. I can learn so much from being there. I don't have to be in school. I don't have to get a flipping piece of paper saying that that piece of paper is what makes me a qualified individual and now I'm smart and now I'm gonna be successful. What? My camera's about to die again, so I'm just gonna tell y'all where I'm at right now. Yes, I'm not in school. Yes, I don't have a solid game plan. Yes, I have low self-esteem and I am not doing well. But that's okay. Because once you're at rock bottom, you can't go any lower unless you're the one digging yourself a hole. I'm not gonna be digging myself a hole, ain't no way. I'm going back up, And I'm gonna be doing it as soon as possible. I went to the library today and got a bunch of books. And I'm gonna work on developing a solid routine where I incorporate working out and eating healthy and taking care of my basic hygiene, my basic necessities. And plus, I also still intern at NASA. And I'll continue doing YouTube, doing what I love, seeing what truly makes me happy. And we'll see what happens. I'm 20 years old. I can figure this out. I have time to figure this out. And I'm excited to take you all with me on that journey. So I have no idea where the future is going to take me, but I appreciate you all for listening to my story and for supporting me. And even if you don't, I'm gonna prove you wrong. Okay. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. Please feel free to leave anything in the comment section down below. I am so excited to see what this year has in store for my YouTube channel, and I'm just going to keep grinding out this content. You know, I had a break for a little bit. I'm ready now. And with that, I will see you all in my next video. Bye. You're out of time. You're out